But now that we don't have to be a slave to this anymore, what power level from 1 to 10 would you put that deck on now that we don't have to use that system anymore?
7. Every deck's a 7.
Touche.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
It's a
I
7.
gotcha. It's
Okay.
a 7. Hey, listen to Commander Cookout Podcast, episode 480. I'm Brando. I'm here with Ryan, and today we're going to bust some more brackets and change the game. Now, in our theme song! Hey, Ryan. We're back for yet another whirlwind adventure. How you doing?
Good. What is going down?
Whole ton is going down. We're going to revisit our topic from last week when we talked about the new bracket system that's in its beta being tested out a few days ago at Magic Fest Chicago. I'm sure by now Real Life Us has had many updates on how it worked and things that the members of the nation that were there would like to change. And we'll talk about that maybe on the pre-show next week or possibly on the show next week, depending on how things go. But before we can get to any of that stuff, we have to thank our official business daddies, FusionGamingOnline.com. They are your source for all your gaming needs, where you can use special promo code CCO Holiday to save yourself 5%.
Save yourself.
Save yourself 5% off all the things that you're going to buy anyway. You're going to get it anyway. You might as well spend less money on it.
Very much so.
We also have to thank Pile of Bones Brewing Co. They are the second coolest thing to come out of Regina, as well as being the official beer sponsor for CCO Sidewalk Slam Season 3, premiering February 28th, right here on YouTube.
Oh, man. So many things. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
MagicCon Chicago. We're not there. That sucks.
Yeah, that does kind of suck. I want another upside down pizza. Now that we've talked about it, I wanted one.
That's the first thing.
I did want one.
Second thing. Big thanks to producer Gary, the Damn Media Studio Network Studio.
Yeah.
Yep.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
Very much so. And links to Duffer Nav Media in the show notes below, wherever you find the show. Pile of Bones. We drank some after we played Sidewalk Slam the other day. And it's going to be a great episode. Funny intro. All the players got their own little intro. I'm excited to show it off.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about with people in the nation the play mistakes, because there was a bunch of them right in a row at the end of the game.
Yep.
None of which actually really affected the outcome of the game, because how it ended is still how it ended.
That's because of what happened.
But when I tell you and show you where they were, you're like, oh, God damn it. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, we're so stupid. Because there was 3 of them right in a row.
Yep.
And editor Tyler worked on it and pointed them all out and was like, yeah, it didn't actually matter. So Feb 28, watch on the Discord, watch on the Patreon feed and all the socials. Of course, big thanks to the patrons.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/CCO Podcast. We wouldn't be here without you guys. And we have started talking about and a little bit planning the next few CCO experiences. We've got for sure on the horizon MagicCon Las Vegas, our favorite one ever.
Oh.
We've got MagicCon Atlanta in September,
Yeah.
which is super cool. We've been scoping out flights from our part of Canada, and it looks like it's going to be relatively affordable for us. We've been looking at face-to-face games tour stops, the 2 and the 3-day stops. We've been looking at Red Deer. We've been looking at Montreal. We've been looking at, they just had Ottawa a couple weeks ago that I missed.
Ottawa.
Yeah. And then in November, way at the end of the year, there's Calgary, which we always do go to and have a gay old time.
Why can't they have Calgary when it's nice so we can go to the zoo? You probably wouldn't go to the zoo, but I would go to the zoo because I like the zoo.
Well, usually wherever we stay is kind of close to the zoo. It wasn't the last time because it was winter and we just went back to the house.
Yeah.
Right. But Calgary, always a great time. And of course, always great to be on the Canadian tour with Fusion is there and face to face, and they put us up and we have a great time. We do lots of giveaways and stuff.
They put us up and then they put up with us, which is great.
Mostly the second one. Yes. Because we turned it into a CCO experience, which I am in the Discord going to start a Vegas planning channel pretty quick here, because that is one of the main and probably best benefits to becoming a Patreon supporter.
See, we missed last year too, so you'd better be prepared for a bender and a half, baby.
Yes.
And when I say bender, of course, I mean we're going to drink some beer and play Magic like fucking nerds.
Yes.
And we'll probably eat some pizza. Man, everything there closes so early. Like, if you want to go eat somewhere.
In Las Vegas?
Yeah. Like, the casinos are open and
I was
the
going to
bars
say,
are open.
what are you, high? It never closes.
But if you want to go and, like, sit down and have, like, a burger the size of your fucking head, you got to go before 8 o'clock or the shit's closed.
You know what? I'm not super high on going and standing in line to go to, like, to the restaurants on the strip. I really like finding the places off the strip, and or like I've done in the past, but has never come to fruition, except for maybe this time it will, where we book a venue to play after hours. Because, you know, like sometimes the hall closes or everybody wants to leave the hall to eat, and then they don't want to catch a cab back. So it's like, hey, Mr. Restaurant, where you have awesome food and like 100 different beers on tap, if I bring like 20 nerds that want to eat and drink beer, can we play Magic cards on your tables until 3? And they're like, oh, absolutely. We would love for you to come and do that. We'll have specials and this and this and this. And it's like, hey, that sounds like a perfect idea to do CCO experience, pack openings, make little shorts, videos. Oh, man.
And drink beer.
Oh, yeah.
And I can take an hour and a half to eat a single burger.
No, you can't.
And if you think that I'm making that up, I've done it.
You need
twice.
to eat by yourself, not be distracted, and don't even eat in the same cities that I'm in.
Why?
Because I can't stand eating with you.
Why?
Could you take a fucking hour and a half to eat one fucking burger?
Well, I just carry it around with me when I change tables.
If I see you doing that, I'm going to splat it out of your hand onto the ground and make you pick it up with your ass cheeks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I shall.
Man,
you could see it on YouTube if you're watching there.
Which you should be. You bunch of.
There it is. Okay. Well, here's the thing.
Do you think Joe made me into Red Hulk for that one? Because
Probably not.
Like
Green Hulk or bust, Joe. That's it.
The Hulk sequel came out and they didn't have Hulk in it.
Oh yeah, it had Red Hulk. Rolk. Rolk.
Hell.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, last thing before we talk about game changers and stuff.
Okay.
You and I are deliberating on the final design for CCO sleeves.
Yes.
Coming up, I want to launch the Kickstarter in in March.
March is the next month coming up.
Yes, sir. And I'm excited. I want to give people, like, I want to make stuff that people are interested in, and it's been years of people saying, hey, when sleeves? Yep. Well, so now sleeves. Frickin' now. So once we get it live, and you know how people do like countdowns before Kickstarter start, we're going to put those links out there and everybody can follow or do whatever you do with Kickstarter. Man. I never knew, but like, I guess people like shop on Kickstarter.
What?
Yeah. Like they just go there to see what's available. Like what new games or cool stuff can I like look at or follow to see if it's going on.
Huh.
Yeah, blew my mind.
And that must be rough because, like, you go on this big shopping spree, like, oh, this would make a great present for so and so and such and such or such and such. And it doesn't show up for 2 fucking years because, you know, manufacturing and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I'm looking to run the Kickstarter for a month and have it delivered or at least out for delivery by May.
That means you'll have it for when we see you in Vegas.
Yes. Bonus points if I can just give it to you in Vegas and save on the exorbitant shipping prices from Canada.
Ooh. But then we have
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I like that idea. I like that idea. I just had that idea.
I had the idea. Come on. This is me contributing.
Sure.
Damn it.
Yes.
Straighten my shirt.
I'll give you that. Now. Okay, Business Brando. How do you feel after you've spent at least one day at the LGS talking about playing with or modifying decks or playing against modified decks as a result of commander brackets and game changers?
I have altered nothing about my life.
Oh.
And you know what? I think telling everybody that my Bellow deck is a 1, which it technically is funny.
Yes.
But I think overall, once we got past the my deck is a 1 conversation, I think that we actually did have some very enlightening conversations about people. I learned something about myself from our boy Thomas that I'm going to tell you about in just a second.
Sure.
But I kind of think that it works. I think that the bracket discussion and especially the game changer list needs some refining. But I think they're actually onto something here. I really do think that this is, it sounds, it's just like the power scale. Every deck's a 3 instead of a 7.
It's not. Oh my God, it isn't.
But it's, I really do think that this is as far as a tool goes, I actually like using it, and I think it's pretty good.
Because there's actual rules.
Yeah.
It's not just subjectively, what do you think about like how it fits into the power range of your decks? This deck is my 1. This deck's my 10. Oh, this deck's my 7.
Yeah.
No, there's actual hard and fast rules. Now, we're not going to get into it because we talked extensively about it last week for like an hour and a half over 2 different episodes. We are going to talk about our own experiences now that I've made some deck changes and really re-theorized a few of my decks.
Ooh.
And you've played and talked with the CCO Dude Bros.
Yeah.
Drank beer about it.
Hell yeah, we did.
Yeah. So, okay, what did you learn about yourself from Thomas of Sidewalk Slam fame?
Thomas of Sidewalk Slam fame.
Yep.
Fame.
Yep.
Which you can see February 28th.
Oh, very good.
On this YouTube channel. He was talking about what makes a 1 a 1. And he said, they're more janky and meant to be fun. And like in my head, I'm thinking all decks are janky and meant to be fun if you build them to be janky and fun.
Yes.
But then he hit me with a line that I also heard a few other creators using when the brackets first came out. And that's, they're not built with a way to win in mind.
It's a strange thing to...
And I'm going to tell you, I don't like that. So if anybody ever sits down with me and says, this is my 1...
You do or you don't like that?
I don't like it.
Okay.
So if somebody sits down across from you and they say, this is my deck, it's a 1. And you say, okay, well, what does it do? And say, well, it just kind of plays things and doesn't really do anything. I don't want to play against that person.
I also don't think that actually exists.
Like,
I don't agree with it doesn't have a way to win.
Like, why would you build a deck that like isn't designed to win a game of Magic the Gathering? Like, why are you doing that? Does it have interaction in it? Is it going to prevent me from not winning or from winning the game while you go about your business of not winning? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing here? Are you wasting my time?
You know what's ironic?
I don't like that.
You know what? Oh, very much so. You know what's ironic and kind of funny?
Tell me.
Is that when brackets first came out, everybody was like, oh, what's the difference between 4 and 5? Why is there a 4 and a 5? Why is 4 and 5? Right? Why isn't CDH its own fucking format? All the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like it has been for years at this point. And now that we're 2 or 3 weeks into it, I'm hearing all the conversation and discourse about level 1. A, like it's even gonna matter.
Yeah.
And B, man, maybe if you have to ask what a 1 is, just like if you have to ask what a 5 is, you don't have a 1.
It's not a 1.
You don't have a 1.
Yeah.
I got a 1 that is specifically made out of cheap cards that I know are going to get wrecked, and I don't care because I'm going to play them on the floor with CCO people at a MagicCon.
Yeah.
That have all of the Lord of the Rings cards that I can fit in that aren't worth money. Like, that's the stipulation. They need to be cheap, and they need to be from the Lord of the Rings set.
Ooh.
I do have a win con in it, though.
Of course you do.
I've got big creatures because there's some big orcs and trolls.
Yeah.
And it does have an aristocrat sub-theme as a backup way to just get the life totals going down.
Yeah.
Right? Like, obviously, the deck functions. And I didn't make any changes to that deck as a result of brackets coming out.
Yeah.
That's not one of the ones.
I barely even changed my mindset with the brackets, if I'm honest.
Oh.
Like, I took one game changer out of one deck to, again, make it a 1. And during the game, I won the game for the record. That's not a brag, but I did win a game with a 1 against a 3 and a 3 and a 2.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, how is that a 1? And this deck, it's Vanifar Ooze Lady from Murders at Karloff Manor.
Mm-hmm.
Every card in it, every creature in it is either like a colorless Cheerio creature that I can just play for free, or it's either manifested or morphed or cloaked or dreaded or whatever.
So it's like face down deck.
Yeah. So they're colorless and Vanifar makes them bigger, which is fun. And I think that that's pretty cool. And it's a super janky way to play cards. I don't have any of the tokens, so I keep forgetting which ones are which.
Yeah.
Can I target that one? Does it have ward? Is it a real creature? When it dies, does it go to your hand? What the hell is this? And it's garbage, right? But like having those conversations is just it helps, man. I'm telling you, these are working.
I'll ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
Not having the tokens doesn't make your deck less powerful.
No.
So that's certainly something to keep in mind.
It's just a reminder thing where like some of
Yeah.
these have ward now and you can't tell, and oh my god.
Yeah. Obviously, all of the requirements to be a 1 or specifically to not be a 2 or a 3 are in place for you to call that deck a 1.
Yep.
So by the letter of the law,
Yep.
it's a 1.
Yep.
With your intentions for the deck is to not optimize face down or 0 ability creatures. There's no intention to optimize or to make it better. Now, is the deck less, more, or the same power level as a precon?
It would get hammered by a modern precon.
Modern precon. Okay, that's a great parameter because level 2 core is the power level of a modern precon.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to do something taboo that we never frickin' do. And we very specifically not done it and made jokes about it. But now that we don't have to be a slave to this anymore, what power level from 1 to 10 would you put that deck on now that we don't have to use that system anymore?
7. Every deck's a 7.
Touche.
Gotcha.
It's
I
a
gotcha.
7. It's a
I
7.
gotcha. It's
Okay.
a 7.
And thereby demonstrating why this system is better than that system.
Precisely.
Okay.
We did it. We
Okay.
we showed everybody.
Okay.
Man,
so,
we're smart.
So it's a 1. Now, I've got a couple things that I want to either clarify, reiterate, or maybe bring to light for the first time
Okay.
since we've started talking about this.
Sure.
And the first one is about honesty.
Ah, yes.
Honesty, we talk about it all the time. Don't be a dick. Don't be an asshole. Be honest with your opponents. Don't try and scumbag anybody. That ain't what I'm talking about here.
I heard Corey yesterday, actually. He sat down with 3 guys that he hadn't played with before. One of them, I know that you've played with. I think last time you were there, you played with him. Is the guy with the birthmark?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yep, good dude. And 2 other dudes I'd never seen before, and they were like talking power level and what their decks do or whatever. And Corey was like, "Look, we're not playing for stakes here. Like, there's no reason to be shifty about what your deck does. Just tell me, and we'll play a game."
Yeah, oh, I like that.
And it's like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
man,
Be,
so
be
good.
honest, and that's important when you're talking to others. But specifically, what I mean is it's tough to be honest with yourself.
Yeah,
And my note is it's tough to be honest about your deck's power level, both when the deck isn't as good as you think it is
yeah,
and when it's better than you think it is.
yeah.
And that should dictate where you tell people it falls into, like what bracket it falls into,
Yep.
but also how you tweak and tune or detune the deck. So with a few of my decks,
Okay.
I was like, man, I don't think that this deck is actually that good. And
Right.
it's got 1 or 2 game changers in it.
Okay.
Immediately putting it in bracket 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this deck ain't bracket 3. It barely wins at my F&M when I'm playing against like brand new players that have never played, that who've modified their precons and made it worse. Like, this deck is not good.
Yeah, they make their deck
Right?
worse. Yeah.
So it's like, I can't in good faith say that this deck's a 2 because it's got 2 or 3 game changers and a bunch of tutors in it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to fucking take those cards out and make my deck an actual 2. No game
Ooh.
changers, no redundancy in the tutor slot,
Sure.
no early combos, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm honest about my deck not being very powerful. So it almost makes me feel like, why try? Why include these cards that obviously give players like a sour taste or a bad experience when 1 card out of 99 isn't going to move the needle? Now, I get it at the same time. Well, if the 1 card is not going to move the needle, why do I have to take it out?
Yeah.
Because that's what the rule is now. That's what the bracket rule is. And if 1 card's okay, is 2 cards okay? Is 3 okay? Is 4 okay? Because now we're not talking about, is my deck a 2 or a 3? 4 game changers is the difference between my deck being a 2 or a 3 or a 4.
Yeah.
And now I'm jumping up 2 brackets. So instead of running 1 or 2 in my deck that obviously sucks, I'm just going to run frickin' none. And it's a 2, and it's a 2, and it's a 2. And I don't have to say that it's a 2 based on modern precons because it ain't as good as modern precons. It's a 2 based on the life cycle of a precon from 2011 to 2025. It's a 2. It's a 2. It's a 2.
Deuce.
That's it. That's it. That's it. And it's easy.
Shit. 2.
It's
Deuce.
easy.
Shit.
Also important. Yeah, it's shit. It's a deuce.
Yes.
It's also important to say that every single one of my decks at this point has been considered in this way.
Ooh.
And while some of them were like, ooh, I'm going to take this Smothering Tithe out of this deck. I'm going to take this One Ring out of this deck. I'm going to put that Smothering Tithe and One Ring into different decks. That it's like, this deck's obviously better than a precon and only has 1 game changer in it. Now it has 3. And it's still a 3. My deck is now better. I got better card draw. I got better mana production. I'm putting my Smothering Tithe in the deck that has the Enlightened Tutor and the Sarah Sanctum that combos to win. That's a 3.
Yeah.
And it's got the exact amount of game changers it's allowed to have. It's got a redundancy of tutors, a lot of removal, some light stacks. This deck is very obviously better than a precon.
Yes. Although,
and it's a 3.
Some of those fucking precons, man.
Yeah, well, I'll play against them. I'm not scared if they want to play up.
Yeah.
If they want to play up into 3 because they're running like the most powerful precon. I'll play up.
I'll slap you down.
Yeah, that's it.
Make you feel like you're playing a 0.
So, in this way of thinking, slow rolled me. In this way, I've changed 4 decks.
Wow. I've changed that one I told you about, and I actually added a Chrome Mox that I opened to Ralph.
Hey.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Which Chrome Mox do you open?
I opened
Yellow foil one?
I opened a borderless foil, actually. I hit it big.
Borderless foil? From what set?
Aetherdrift.
Aetherdrift?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Hey, you and I did a Brando's and Ryan's box opening. Check it out, coming up, I guess on a Friday or a Saturday, whenever Sidewalk Slam isn't.
Yes.
Because
Sidewalk Slam does take priority. We opened some pretty okay stuff.
It was my box, but you're opening it. So it's like, oh man, I probably could have done better. but some definitely commons and uncommons and rares that I'm going to play.
Yep.
I got all the lands I needed if I don't want to do yellow border lands.
Which he does. So if you have yellow border lands you don't want, get at your boy.
Hit me up. And I definitely got some mega foil hits.
Ooh.
It's too bad. I wanted to trade all my mega hits in to like see if I can get another box.
No.
But all my mega foil hits, they go in my vehicle deck, and I'm a freaking nerd. So, oh man.
Yeah, I was the same way.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Getting pounded on booster boxes is basically what we do.
Yep.
So, anyways, I got 4 decks.
4 decks.
Okay. I got Shroofus.
I remember that one.
Mushroom Stamp guy.
Yep.
So, Mushroom Stamp guy, the One Ring.
Okay.
Out. It was the only game changer.
Okay.
And I says, I'm going to put a Sylvan Anthem in. That was the card I couldn't remember last week. When a green creature entered, green creature, doesn't say token.
Scry 1.
Scry 1, and all your green creatures get +1/+1.
Yep, that's a good card.
That's a good card.
That's
2 mana.
Real life card, that one.
So I can play that a turn before my commander. It's gonna like essentially act as a token doubler.
Yep.
Because my Saprolings now deal 2 damage each instead of 1, and whenever they hit you, I make another one.
Yep.
So it's very good. It's a card advantage engine if I can make 10 tokens and scry
10.
Well, scry 10 times. That's probably going to give me enough card selection to count as like card advantage, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very much. And I've certainly played with that card. I played in AV and I play it in Tana.
Yep.
And it's
good in both?
Very good.
Okay. So I put that in. It's on curve. It's budget. And it allowed me to take a game changer out to make my deck a straight up 2.
Nice.
Some early mana dorks, which are susceptible to wraths, and some mid-game make tokens, and some late-game preposterous proportions, and all my guys get +10/+10.
March of the World Ooze.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I got 15 tokens, and I had to work the whole game to make them.
Yep.
Now they're all 11/11s. Everybody's taking 60, or whatever, right?
Yep.
My next one, Bryon Stoutarm.
And I keep forgetting you have that deck.
Yeah. Every time I play it, I'm like, oh, this is the last time.
Yep, I'm taking this up. Why don't you just
I've
take
been
it apart?
saying it for years.
Man, I would have dusted that deck years ago.
Dude, I keep modifying it and playing it. The last time I played it, I pounded guys with it. Like absolutely destroyed people with it. And I played it 2 times in the same night. And one time I almost won, and the other time I fucking just pounded guys' shorts right up their butts.
Wow.
I don't know what that looks like or why I said that, but
You ever got a wedgie?
oh yeah, it's like a wedgie, but
It looks
because
like that.
a fist was also going up. Yes. So I took Smothering Tithe out of that deck.
Ooh. So now when you play your 8 mana things, you have to actually pay 8.
Yes.
So now your deck that was already a piece of shit is a smellier piece of shit.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. But what I did is other upgrades that were just better, like card draw stuff or whatever that was just better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm introducing a little bit of a giant sub-theme, like giant creatures. Because there's like a damage doubler from Kaldheim that is
Yep.
just for giants.
Yep.
Brian Stardarm's a giant.
He is that.
I've got a what's the 5-drop that you tutor an equipment when you play him? Stone Hero Giant?
Stone. The white. Yeah.
Yeah, the white one.
Yeah.
And that lets me find my Death Render or my Infect equipment.
Right.
And he's a
Giant.
giant. And there's a couple other ones like Inferno Titan.
Sure.
There's Giant Harbinger, who's a giant tutor.
So you added 2 tutors.
Yes.
So is the deck truly a 2 with that many tutors?
It is a tutor because those are the only tutors in it. I didn't add the Giant Harbinger yet.
Okay.
That's still in like the maybe pile as I find what else to cut.
Check.
So it's got a Stone Hero Giant to find a win con.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's slow, but it's got a powerful endgame, and it is capable of killing people in one hit. Like
Yes.
if I do it, like if I damage double by flinging a Malignus or a Sarah's Avatar, life
Sure.
total
Equal to your life.
power equal to life total, and I fling it.
Yeah.
It's got the Infect equipment on Brian. If I fling a 10-drop, you just die.
Yep.
So it can do the powerful thing, but slowly.
Do you wish that Cactar was red? I wish Cactar was red.
I wish Cactar was red because he'd be going straight into the Brian Stardarm deck.
Yep.
And I'd be gaining 10,000 life when I fling.
I love that fucking card. I love it so much.
You know what? I saw it. I saw that it was a Final Fantasy card. You can hear some of our initial Final Fantasy thoughts on yesterday's pre-show. I saw it. I thought, I didn't know Cactar was from Final Fantasy.
Yeah, you fool.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. Second thing is, I don't know if Brando's going to love this or hate it.
I love it. I really like it a
Good.
lot.
I'm
I
happy.
like it a lot.
I'm happy for you.
And I like that so many people are like, oh, ban it, it's too good. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, come on, guys.
Well, it is Yu-Gi-Oh! But
It's
at
fine.
the point of 10,000, how is that any different than, I don't know, 50?
Yeah,
or 100? Like, I don't know.
Geoff,
Yeah.
Thomas's boyfriend. I hope it's okay that I say that on the show.
Ooh, scandal.
I don't know. But he plays lots of legacies. So like the tuning and the fine, he has a really good magic mind that way.
Yeah.
And when we were talking about this thing that's got 10,000 power, he was just like, well, what's the difference between 10,000 and 100? And the answer is basically nothing.
Bro, what's the difference between 10,000 and Emrakul? When you've cracked 3 or 4 fetch lands and I have an Emrakul and I hit you one time, as if that might not, like if that doesn't kill you, puts you to 1 or 2 in Legacy, that is.
Yeah.
And you have to annihilate 6. Like, how is this, like, if I go
Exactly.
show and tell Omniscience Emrakul, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
know.
It's over.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, and I think it's just an arbitrarily large number on a fairly simple to deal with creature.
And no evasion.
Yep.
This is fine.
You're going to give it trample immediately.
Oh,
but
yeah. It's like, what's the guy that whenever you have a creature enter the battlefield, you double his power?
I know the one. You mean.
Va-
Devilish Valet.
Devilish Valet, yeah. Every time creature ETBs, it's a creature fall double power. And
Yep.
everybody's like, what the fuck? Oh my God, you play 5 creatures and this guy's like 80 power. 80 and 10,000? I don't know.
It's the same.
I feel like they're the same thing.
It's the same number, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that Cactuar is fucking cool,
Yeah.
man. I'm excited to play him.
Yeah. I got 2 more decks, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about game changers.
Okay, tell me.
Estrid the Bald. This is where my Smothering Tithe is going. It's an enchantment. I play Enlightened Tutor. I play Sarah's Sanctum. This is fine. It's already a 3. It's the one that has the light. I wouldn't say stacks is too extreme of a word, but it's like all damage dealt to me is 0. I can story circle or circle of protection myself. Like I can lock you out of damaging me.
Yes.
It's got all of the removal that are enchantments. Like make your guy a bug, make your guy a 0/4, make your guy a land. Yeah. All of those draw me 4 cards because I've got all the enchantresses.
Yeah.
Enchantry. Right? So a deck's probably a 3.
Yep.
Probably a 3. And it's got 3 game changers in it now.
There you go.
That's fine.
Sure.
And the final one, Alenda. I cut something, I don't remember what, to add. Estrid also has a Ristic Study. Yeah. So Alenda, I cut something to add the 1 ring.
Yep.
And it only has 2 game changers. And this is where intention versus letter of the law comes in again, like we talked about last week. 2 game changers, but there are 5 or 6 tutors. Probably too many to be a 3.
I don't know, man. We're going to talk about that later. We're going to talk about why tutors are...
One of the tutors is an Urza's Saga, which...
Finds a soul ring.
Finds a soul ring or, in my deck, a combo piece, an animation module, which combos with Alenda.
Okay.
One of the tutors is a Inventor's Fair, the land.
Sure.
That finds the same combo piece, right?
Sure.
And then there's a D-Toots, there's a Runescarred Demon, and there's a Beseech the Queen. That's 6 tutors.
That's lots of tutors.
That's lots of tutors, and I don't specifically try to combo. I try to do the value thing and always bring stuff back from the graveyard. Like you've played the deck. It's impossible to beat.
Yeah.
And here, I talked about this one last on purpose because it feels like there's a lot of things in that deck that change the game. You always talk about that deck being so resilient.
Yeah.
That deck trying to get value out of literally every inch and corner of the game. It's got an Ashnod's Altar in there to make a ton of mana.
Not a game changer, though.
Not a game changer. To play other things that also feel like game changers. Exsanguinate, Torment of Hailfire.
Yeah, we talked about those last week.
Dead of the Deathless, which is the...
When they die, they come back.
No.
Isn't it?
That's Deader's Knell.
Oh.
Dead of the Deathless is the white-black Exsanguinate times 2. That one.
Oh. Okay.
It's like black, white, X.
Darn,
Everybody loses X, you gain 2X. Everybody loses 2X, I gain 2X.
Dang.
That one.
That's a good one.
When you sacrifice 15 guys, everybody take 30.
That's enough.
Right? And it's got another, so that's like 3 or 4 feels like game changers that win out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then it's got a fucking Grave Pact.
Oh,
that feels like a game changer, doesn't it? Because it changes the way that you play Magic.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily an awesome card if I don't have creatures, but I built my deck around having creatures, so I do. But like Hirobi, Death's Wail, it changes a game of Magic into something else. And I think that's what's important to differentiate. And I'm going to ask you about this.
Ooh.
When we got comments on last week's pre-show and last week's episode, I would take this off and put this on, this off, this on. A lot of I would put this onto the game changers list were cards that feel like they win out of nowhere. Akroma's Will was mentioned. Exsanguinate and Torment of Hailfire were brought up.
Yeah.
Ashnod's Altar and Phyrexian Altar were brought up because it's like, you're not doing... Oh, Intruder Alarm. You're not doing anything fucking normal with that card.
You're not doing anything fair with Intruder Alarm. Nobody just
Absolutely
puts Intruder... It's not in your Estrid, is it?
No, it's blue.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Oh, no, Estrid.
Yeah,
no, it's
Estrid.
not in Estrid. No, because she's not a creature deck.
But it's an enchantment. See, nobody does that. Nobody plays it. This is my enchantment deck, and I have one. Nobody does that because it's cracked.
And that card would probably be good in that deck because it keeps creatures tapped.
Until somebody plays one.
Yeah, exactly. Another one is Seedborn Muse, Skull Clamp. We saw those that just provide so much value turn over turn over turn. Those don't inherently change the game of Magic. Seedborn Muse, you're probably going to run out of cards. Skull Clamp, you might run out of guys, right?
Right.
And both of those are easy to destroy. Like, I don't know. We're not getting into that.
Yeah.
But the feels like game changers, along with the tutors, makes my Alenda deck feel like a 4, even though technically it only has 2 game changers in it.
Yeah.
And
Intention.
Yeah, exactly. And then what is too many tutors, and what is the intention of those tutors? Mm-hmm. And 2 of my tutors that are very narrow are specifically in there to find combo pieces. Yeah. That feels quite pointed. Mm-hmm. And when you're quite pointed, that feels like you shouldn't be at the 2 or 3 category.
I concur.
So
I was thinking about this, and I was talking to Aiden and I think Geoff about this last night, where when you look at my decks, I play tons of tutors in mine. Not tons, but like I'll have 1 or 2 in basically every deck that I play. And the reason I do that...
And some decks you play, tutors are not sparse.
Correct.
Whatever sparse means.
Yeah, whatever that means. Like they're fucking there. And I play them because I don't really play, for example, pay 2, lose 2, draw 2. Why would I pay 2 to draw 2 random piece of shit cards when I could pay 2 at the same speed and just find the thing that you need?
Yeah. And also, I'll add to that, because I know you and I know your decks, you also aren't the guy that's going to tutor for a combo piece. I don't know if I can remember a time where you weren't playing Nye CEDH where you combo 1. I think on last season's Sidewalk Slam, when you tried to snoop combo, was the last time I saw you combo.
See?
And when you're not trying to do the combo thing, tutors become less important.
Yeah.
They just become like a second copy of, air quotes, the best card in your deck, or a second copy of
the thing I need right now.
The thing you need right now. Yeah.
Which is kind of what I play them for. And I think that intention, and this is what I'm saying, like when you look at the list of game changers, there's so many tutors, and they're mentioned in the brackets, like what makes a deck a 2, a 3, or 4.
Not redundancy thing, the redundancy? No, that's the fucking same word.
Yeah, that's the same word. You just said it a bunch of times. You just said the same word over and over again.
Yeah. The redundancy with the list and the rule.
Yes. And I feel like the tutor thing specifically, I think that's the most intention-based thing in here.
Making it the hardest to quantify.
Absolutely the most difficult thing to quantify as a hard and fast rule, because if you're like, well, in the examples we just gave, Ryan's playing tutors to find a combo piece to win the game. Whereas I'm playing tutors because I don't want to just draw a card. I want to find the thing that I need right then, be it a piece of removal, or I don't have any creatures. I have no cards in my hand, so I need something, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that, well, Brando, you're running 5 tutors in your deck. Yeah, but I use it to find Cultivate.
Because you're not a combo player.
Exactly. And I feel like that, I'm not saying I deserve special consideration, but I think that when you're going to put it into a hard and fast rule like they have, having too many tutors immediately makes your deck into a 4 or a 5. That's, I don't want to say disingenuous is the wrong word, but then you got to sit down and we got to go back to the whole Rule 0 thing where it's like, listen, I'm running tutors instead of draw spells because I don't want to just draw 3 more islands.
Yeah. And man,
right, and that's hard to quantify.
We have a hard and fast rule that dictates how many game changers we have. Mm-hmm. And some of the tutors are also game changers. There's an overlap there. Why do we not just have this is a legitimate question. This isn't me being facetious or like being hyperbolic or whatever. Why don't we have a hard and fast number, a definition of what tutors being sparse means? Mm-hmm. Could it be 2? Could it be 3? Yeah. I don't know. I have a power level or a bracket 2 deck that has 3 tutors in it, but no game changers.
Yeah.
And what's ironic is tutors, if you're tutoring for a Wrath of God or a removal spell, those change the game.
Yeah.
Those change what's happening in the game.
Yeah.
Whereas a tutor for a combo piece like I'm running in my Alenda deck, that's going to end the game.
Yeah.
And
which is also changing it. But
it is. And I think the difference is I'm automatically declaring and saying that deck exists at a 4 you better expect that if I tutor, I'm going to try and end the game.
Yes, I'm going to try and win with my tutor.
That's the difference.
Yes.
You're playing tutors maybe in decks that exist at 2 and 3, where they should be sparse. And if they're not, maybe this is how I interpret it. If they're not sparse, they also don't win the game.
Yeah.
And that goes back again to intention, which is hard to quantify because there's no hard and fast rule. And if we want it to be a tool that's used, I think it might be worth testing. I'm not going to say beneficial or better, but worth testing and saying, this is how many tutors. And this is what tutor means. Because I saw so many people on Twitter saying, is cultivated Twitter? Is rampant growth a Twitter? What about in my mono green landfall deck when I run 7 different cultivate and rampant growth variants? Are those tutors? Because they're furthering my strategy at that point.
You know what card isn't on this list that fucking should be? Crop rotation.
Crop rotation, good.
Crop rotation is a hell of a card.
You think crop rotation should be on the list?
Absolutely, I do.
What did you say last week for what should be on Green's list?
Crater Hoof Behemoth.
Crater Hoof. Yes, you did, because that is a well, and you're falling into the, I think, trap. That's a win the game card, like a Chroma's Memorial.
Yes.
Crater Hoof and a Chroma's Memorial do the same thing.
You just win the game, kind of.
Yeah. Trample to everybody, make everybody huge, or flying to everybody, give them all double strike. They do the same thing.
Yeah.
Crop rotation changes what's currently happening, and you can use it offensively or defensively or to further various kinds of strategies. Mm-hmm. Now, does that add a redundancy to the list if I'm crop rotating for a Sarah Sanctum or a Gaia's Cradle?
Yes.
We already have those cards on the list, so why does crop rotation need to be on there? Which raises the question.
Why are tutors on there in the first place if it's just about redundancy?
When we already have the tutor should be sparse, when we don't have a definition of sparse.
Correct.
I don't know. That sounds kind of complainy, but I think more than anything, we're just trying to talk through it.
Yeah,
right?
and this is this is a thing that's in its beta infancy. Again, as people are listening to this, with the exception of producer Gary,
listen, I just never understand anything.
Welcome to Magic.
It's so hard. It's so complicated.
Welcome to Magic, Gary.
So, none of us have been to Chicago or know anything about Chicago, but everybody who's listening to this will have probably heard something from there,
Perhaps.
right? Whether it worked. And maybe they'll come back, we're going to change, instead of having all these tutors on the Game Changer list, we're going to put a number of tutors in each bracket maybe. Maybe we'll sprinkle how many Game Changers you can play across your decks. Maybe we'll add some different cards on here,
Mm-hmm.
That could be the gimmick. I'd imagine there's going to be some people who have some pull, probably walking around with maybe some banned cards in their decks, maybe, to see if they might end up on a Game Changer list in the future. You know what I'm saying? I'm so excited to play my Mana Crypts again, you guys.
I'm so excited to play Jeweled Lotus and Bruvac. 12 Game Changers, baby. When I found out that the testing and there was going to be an exact area for exactly what we're talking about in Chicago, I had that disappointment and FOMO feeling all over again. Yeah. Missing CCO Nation, missing the CCO experience, missing drinking
upside down pizza,
fucking Malort in the command zone, right? Missing all of that aside, when I found out that I could have meaningful and really deep theoretical Magic conversations with other people who really care about it. Not discounting what we're doing here, but we do this all the time.
That's true.
If I can do this with people who have different opinions than you, and
those exist,
or WotC people, or people on the Commander, what's it called again?
I don't care.
Frick, the Commander group,
the Commander posse. I don't know.
Yeah, man, I wish that I could have been there and just talk, whether it be cards or intentions. I would love to see some kind of line graph or bar graph saying this is, as you increase in Game Changers, your deck becomes this, and how having tutors in your deck changes that. Ooh. Right? And what I'm interested in thinking about a graphing or whatever is the quantifying the intention, where I specifically don't go over 3 Game Changers to keep my deck of 3.
Sure.
Or I don't have any Game Changers to keep my deck of 2.
Right.
At what point do tutors start to make my deck have to move up a bracket?
Yeah.
And if it's just tutorness, is it tutor, yes or no? Don't talk about intention. Don't talk about what it can find, except for land tutors. Is it going to change the bracket my deck is in? We don't really have rules that govern that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to know what people feel about that crossover. Like, does having 5 tutors in my bracket 3 deck, does that make it like a 3.5?
Oh, no, it can't be, because a 3.5 would then become a 4. And then a 4.5 would become a 7. And then now we're back to where we were before.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. A 3.5 becomes a 4.
Yeah.
And I built the deck in a way, not knowing what sparse means, that makes it a 3. So how much can I pack in, and really how much of an edge can I gain? How much can I game the system? And how much is okay?
And that's the gimmick that we talked lots about at the store last night. Because again, the Bellow is a 1 it's such a good example, because that deck isn't a fucking 1.
Where would you put it? 3?
3. I'd put it in
terms
3
of
for sure.
in terms of power level, not game changers. In terms
Correct.
of
in terms of
what it's going to meet.
In terms of absolute power, because it is fragile on a specific axis where it needs Bellow to be in play.
Yep.
And that's easy to disrupt because he's just a 3/3 bro with no evasion.
Yep.
That deck is a solid 3, and it could probably, on a good day, it could probably slap the shit out of a low 4 as well.
A 2 or a 4.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous 3, but by the letter of the rules, it's a 1. And people who are going to go and build the thing, I think that quantifying number of tutors allowed, or what actually constitutes en masse land denial and that sort of stuff, like quantifying what those terms mean, would make it easier for you to avoid the people that are going to build a 1 that's actually a 9. And I mean 9, and I actually mean 9 out of 5.
9 out of 5.
Because
okay, you got me.
You know what I'm saying?
You got me.
Because people are going to do that, right? Like, that's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, but that happened before.
Yeah.
That happened before anyways. People saying this is going to change nothing. You're right. You're right in it's going to change nothing in the people who want to take a set of rules and game them. I did it when I was young in my Commander career. Everybody was playing casual, and I was like, how can I make the best Commander deck that nobody can beat and nobody wants to play against? I didn't know socially people are going to say, I don't want to play against that. Can we do something else?
Yeah.
I ended up never playing the deck. I ended up taking it apart. Mm-hmm. And that was a very important learning point. And the people who do this deck's a 1, but it's actually a CEDH deck or nigh on CEDH deck, are going to learn that isn't.
Yeah, just nobody wants to play.
Nobody wants to play against that. And that's the same thing as having just rule 0 or just 1 to 10 power scale or the 4 quadrant thing that people were talking about for a while, or nothing. Like we had in 2018, we had absolutely nothing.
They were just sat down and played Magic with each other.
Sat down and played Magic, and there was guys that didn't flip their commander over till the game started because they were trying to win prizes. Yep. And that's still going to happen. What I like, and I want to continue to reiterate this. This is a tool that gives us language and parameters to use if that person sits down. I'm not flipping over till we start. Sits down across the street from you. Or if you're playing with random kid who it's his first Magic Con and he says, I have this pre-con. It's like, okay, hold on a second. This guy's 12. He's never played before.
Yeah.
Let's be a little bit more aware of the social situation. Well, no, let's
I don't
want
to put up with this crap. Let's get out of here.
I have had that happen.
Oh, yeah.
And a dude totally genuine and polite about it. He said, actually, you know what? I was looking to test out this deck. I'm looking to make it into my CEDH deck. I don't think this pod's right for me. And I don't want to just like turn 3 everybody and nobody actually get to contribute. So I'm actually going to go because my buddy beside me wants to play in this game. And I'm like, oh, fuck, perfect. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, why can't people do that every time?
Yeah.
This is going to be a tool that lets that happen more often.
Here's hoping.
I'm not hoping anything. I'm confident that it's going to make a difference.
I think you're right. I agree with you. I do like this. And again, I've seen it in action, and it's actually working pretty good. And while, again, I think that the Game Changers list is I don't know what the word is. It's at first I thought it was bad, but now I don't think it's bad.
I don't think it's bad.
I think it is maybe
Underdeveloped.
Underdeveloped is
I like that.
That is the word. And I think that a lot of the things that, like we talked about earlier with Grave Pact, like could it be on here? It probably should be, but then you run okay, so then Martyr's Bond has to go on and all, you know what I mean?
Oblation or whatever it is.
Yeah, you can't have one.
Oh, no, not oblation. Oblation, yeah, I think.
It's the white 3. Whenever one of your things dies, everybody sacrifices the thing.
Yeah. And Erebos's Dictate of Erebos is Grave Pact 2, but it got Flash for 5.
Yeah.
It's
Dictate of Erebos.
Yeah, not very good. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel so maybe that's why some of those things aren't on here when maybe they could be. Because those are kind of not really a quantifiable type of card. Like I think they caught the Blue Moon and the Blood Moon and the Winter Orb all kind of together in the Mass Land Denial.
Yeah, and the Blue Moon creature guy, the Merfolk, not even on here.
Yeah, neither was Blood Moon.
Oh, but Blood Moon fits into the Mass Land Denial. And what I love about that is Blood Moon not on the Game Changers list, though it is talked about in the rules set for brackets.
Yes.
Bracket matchmaking system.
Interesting.
Yeah. Whereas, tutors are not on that list.
And the tutors, there's so many of them. I don't know.
You know what? Upon further inspection of the actual list as well, like if you chart it, there's 2 red cards. There's like 15 blue cards.
Yeah.
I love that they weren't scared to say, well, hold on, let's pick 5 from every color.
Oh, yeah.
Because then it makes one color better than the other again. If you're nerfing red more than it ought to be nerfed, and you're not nerfing blue as much as it ought to be nerfed, then you've got this discrepancy in power at the highest level between red and blue, maybe more than you already do.
Yes.
Right? And I'm not saying red is objectively more powerful than red.
Red is so good, though.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying we don't need the same number of cards in each color. I'm not sure if
that would make the list arbitrary, and then I would hate it.
Yes.
If this list appeared even on the surface to be in any way arbitrary, which it does not, and I appreciate that, I would hate this. We have to pick the 7 most powerful cards in each color.
Correct.
And the lands, and we have to put... No. If they had done that, I would wholeheartedly disavow all of this.
How do you feel about the list being 40 cards? Do you think that's a good number?
The number of cards on it doesn't concern me. It could be 50 cards, it could be 10 cards, and as long as everything has a reason for being there, I'd be cool with it. This list can grow and change, and I'm perfectly fine with it the way that it is.
I like that it could grow and change. I love that it could be used as a buffer to take banned cards off a list. And that thereby reducing the number of banned cards. I think that's great. I love that it can be any number of cards. I don't know how nuts I am about this idea, but I like in theory, I like the idea that it could be a rotating thing. Like, oh, what's the Game Changers thing? Like, what are they introducing or telling me to not play with for this quarter?
Oh, I don't want that.
I like how things can rotate like that, in theory.
Yeah, don't talk about rotation when it comes to Commander, because then you end up with Brawl. Remember Brawl? No, you don't.
Huh?
And there's a reason for that.
Huh? You didn't even give me a chance to answer.
Because I knew the answer, Ryan. I was answering for you, so I made sure I got the answer that I goddamn wanted. One thing I don't like about the list.
What is
it? To cut you off.
No,
I have to hit you with this. The colorless section. Okay. I don't like that Ancient Tomb is on there.
Okay.
I don't like that Mana Vault is on there. I don't like those specifically. Because Mana Vault, what's the difference between a Mana Vault and a Dark Ritual? Really? Mana Vault will hurt you over time, turn after turn after turn, and you essentially have to time walk yourself to make that stop.
Mm-hmm.
Ancient Tomb does the same thing. It twos you every time you use it, and Sol Ring is not on here, nor should it be. But I feel like some of those like kind of just burst mana or ramp things shouldn't necessarily be on here. Because yes, it does lead to non-games sometimes, but I can tell you right now that yesterday somebody went Land, Ritual, Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, 5 mana commander, turn 1.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And you know what happened to him?
Did they not win?
It got killed on player 2's turn 2 with a 2-mana kill spell, and they didn't play fucking shit because they dumped their whole hand on turn 1.
Yes.
And that's what happened to them, right?
Yes.
And I'm not saying play more removal, you knew.
No.
But like,
That's reductive, and that's not what this conversation is about.
correct. But I feel like the fast mana being on here goes back to what I said last week, where it feels just kind of butthurty because they're expensive cards, and not everybody has equal access to them. And that's why I feel that they're here.
Well,
Like if Ancient Tomb was printed in every precon, I don't think it would be on here. Much like Sol Ring, right?
much like Temple of the False God.
Correct.
Yeah, I just made that comparison.
Yeah. Temple of the False
Fight me.
Temple of the False God taps for 2. Why isn't it on here? Is it because it's conditional? Is it because it doesn't do damage to you?
Because it doesn't do it on turn 1.
Yes.
Yes. I'll raise you one. I'll one up you on that.
Why is Lotus Petal not on here? It costs 0 and makes a mana. Is it because you sack it?
Oh,
You know what?
'cause
You know what I
sack it.
mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying every card that if you're gonna have these fast, all fast mana should be on here. But like,
I would. Well, man, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
We don't need all fast mana on this list.
yeah, just
we
the
need,
really expensive stuff.
We need some fast mana to take away enough fast mana from the decks that are abusing it at a lower power level to make those decks on par with other decks that are at that same power level. That doesn't mean get rid of all of it.
Yeah.
That just means get rid of some of the pieces that are the most common and you don't have to build around to abuse or take full advantage of.
Sure.
Like Ancient Tomb. Now,
Yes.
I'm gonna go back to this colorless list and raise you one up here. Go back to combine your point with my point.
Ooh, okay. We're smashing points.
Oh yeah,
We're
baby.
touching points. Yeah, Gary likes that one.
More than anything, I want to see Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus on the colorless Game Changers list.
Yeah, I want that too.
And when you say what's the difference between Soul Ring and Ancient Tomb and Temple of the False God and a Ritual and Mana Vault,
Sure.
nothing. They all do the same thing. They're all burst mana. Now, redundancy is a thing, blah, 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 blah. That's a whole other conversation. But
Correct.
go back to September
Okay.
when I was talking about my disapproval of Jeweled Lotus getting banned, not because burst mana turn 1, 3 mana play your commander win on turn 2.
Yes.
That's going to happen, sure.
Sure, yeah.
And if it's on the Game Changers list, maybe you can relegate that to 5s, 4s, sometimes 3s.
Yes.
Sure. Perfectly fine with that. That's what this is for. And it's a tool to, like, declare that I'm trying to fucking do this.
Yes.
Great. But
Ooh, but.
if you put Jeweled Lotus on here
Mhm.
and you allow people to play that in bracket 3,
Mhm.
or you put Jeweled Lotus on here and say, by way of rule 0 in my bracket 2 deck, I'm playing a 7-drop commander. I have a Jeweled Lotus in here, but I'm calling it a 2. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And then on turn 11, after my 7-drop commander's died 2 times and he costs frickin' 11 or 13 or whatever the math says, I can still play Magic because I drew a card that at that point is just like drawing a Dark Ritual or a Seething Song or a Cabal Ritual or a Mana Vault. They're all the same card unless you draw them all
On turn 1.
in your opening hand.
Yes.
And I think Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus, now that we have a Game Changers list, could very easily slot right in there beside Ancient Tomb, Chrome Mox, and Grim Monolith, and Lion's Eye Diamond, and all of that shit.
And I'll take the hit, and we can say leave Dockside Extortionist off.
Fuck him.
I'm fine with that.
Everybody's abusing that card in casual
Yep.
because he's a goblin, and goblin players just drag their knuckles on the ground.
And I would know. Look at how dry mine are from bouncing off the sidewalk as I walk along. They're cold all the time.
Oh,
now.
yeah, that rock salt in the winter, hey, gets your knuckles.
It's bad, man. It's not very good at all.
Yeah, Dockside, get bent.
Yeah,
Stay on the
Coxlide
list.
can stay out of here.
Stay on the
That's fine.
list. Stay on the list. Hey, did we solve any problems?
We always solve the world's problems.
I think
I
so.
think we did.
You know what problem I would love to solve?
Tell me.
Come Jeweled Lotus and Mana Crypt
Yep.
getting onto the Game Changers list in April or May or whenever they're doing the next announcement.
Sure.
You go to fusiongamingonline.com.
Yeah.
Before then,
Yeah.
Use CCO holiday promo code to get a discount before those prices get inflated.
Speculate on them, baby, because they're coming back. They have to.
MTG Finance right here.
they-
Coalition Victory coming back.
You think? Yeah. They probably
Oh,
will.
yeah.
That card sucks. Anyway.
Coalition Victory's coming back, baby. I'm willing to put money on that one.
You think?
Why haven't we talked about ban cards that are going to get unbanned? Maybe that's next week's topic.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, let's do
that.
Let's make a graph.
Your thoughts down in the comments below. We'll add them to the show.
Who's getting unbanned? We'll talk about it next week on the pre-show or on the regular show.
Yes.
Final thought of the day.
It's going to be very well. We've already told them what we're going to talk about. We've already thanked Business Daddy.
Yes.
We're going to thank Production Daddy and Gary and the whole damn studio around here. We're going to thank Pile of Bones Brewing Co. Remember to check out the content that they graciously supply refreshments for, which is CCO's Sidewalk Slam. Little bonus one. Season 3 coming up on February 28th. Do not miss it. It's going to be super lots of fun. And another thing that you should not miss is the next exciting episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. Hit our theme song!